American president speaks, the world listens. You can trust Jeb Bush to be measured and thoughtful on the world stage. Our enemies and allies will know that when President Jeb Bush speaks, he will follow through on his words.
And we'll go back to Hannity, and we continue now with 2016 Republican presidential candidate, former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, his brother, former President George W. Bush. You like being back out here? Is it fun for you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Because I believe in the cause.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a habit.
Oh, is that right? This is a one-time deal
well,
for
as
him?
you know, I'm a sensitive artist now. And
yeah. These paintings of yours are going to be worth something. I saw the one you did of Dana Perino's puppy.
Yeah.
Jasper.
Jasper liked it.
Yeah, I think so. I think Dana liked it, too. Did you draw one of your brother yet?
Not yet. I'll do that.
I'm waiting for him to get out of his primitive period.
Yeah. Is that right? The early stages of artistry? Wow, that's pretty cold. All right, so we lost Justice Scalia.
Yeah.
I think I've learned so much listening to arguments before the Supreme Court from him.
Yeah.
He was so sharp, intellectually solid, a conservative. There's now a big debate. Mitch McConnell has said, wait till the next president, because in the last 80 years, we have not appointed a Supreme Court justice in an election year. Your thoughts?
I think that's the right thing to do. The president has every right to submit a name, and the Senate has every right either to have an up or down vote or to defer. I don't think there's any problem with doing that. This should be an election year issue. Mm-hmm. It really should, because if you go 5-4 the other way, you could see the Second Amendment being wiped off the face of the earth. You could see religious freedom being imperiled. There's a lot at stake here, and I think all the candidates, left and right, ought to use this as the basis to outline what their judicial philosophy is, so there's no surprises, to create a mandate for the next appointments.
Yeah. You got the opportunity to appoint a couple of Supreme Court justices. And you knew Justice Scalia well.
I did know him and liked him. He was a funny man. And yeah, listen, it's a big deal to be able to put somebody on the bench for a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to elect Jeb. He's actually appointed people to a bench before in Florida, and he's got a record that people can look at.
It's an you got to be all in on making that selection. I think the next pick has to be someone with a proven record, so as to know that when they weren't a candidate, they had a proven record that you could look back to create consistency, because we're going to have a divided court for a while. And it would be important to pick someone who has been in the judiciary, and then you've got to fight, because this will be a massive fight.
It's going to be a big fight, and I agree with you. I mean, ever since Robert Bork and then Clarence Thomas, et cetera. In July of 2007, Senator Chuck Schumer, and we'll play it later in the program tonight, was very clear that you would not be able to appoint another Supreme Court justice. That was 18 months left in your presidency.
Now he's outrageous.
Now he's outrageous.
Like, this is horrible.
That's as close as a political question as I'm going to ask you.
In Chuck's case, there was not I didn't appoint one after 2007.
That's Schumerism.
Is that a Schumerism?
Yeah.
That's definitely a Schumerism.
That's kind of the way Washington is.
Yeah.
In a way, a lot of them are for an issue at one point, and then when they get the upper hand, it's somebody else's turn, and it's too bad.
Scalia was a lover of liberty and protection, of us from government, and the ideal would be to pick someone like that.
We hear so much this year about, and I've used the term a lot, so I'm as guilty as everybody else probably, but insurgency, candidacies, and establishment. And I remember when I first interviewed you a year ago at CPAC,
yeah.
I had read 400 pages on you. I read your whole record, your whole time in Florida as governor, and I said to you on stage, that's a conservative record. You have pretty much, it's because of two issues, immigration and Common Core. People think you're the establishment lane.
Well, I'm in the establishment lane because I'm the brother of a president and a son of a president, and I embrace that because that's something I'm proud of.
But you don't have a, you have a conservative
record. But my record is a record of disruption, of challenging the status quo on behalf of people, and it worked. I mean, we led the nation in job growth 7 out of 8 years. Income grew at 4.4%. The government grew by half of that. They called me Veto Corleone because I vetoed 2,500 separate line items. We ended affirmative action and replaced it with a leadership model that didn't discriminate but created more opportunities. These were You can fire someone for a cause in state government. these were pretty difficult things to accomplish. The status quo in Tallahassee protected all of the...
Did any other state create 1.5 million jobs in that period?
No. No. Texas... California and Texas were behind us, but Georgia had already left. Texas has got it going, got a good business climate. So does South Carolina, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the states that are in their ascendancy. They're the ones that lower taxes, focus on regulatory reform. If there's a problem, they have governors that try to fix it. We need that in Washington. I mean, you can take the Illinois path, and Governor Rauner's doing his best, but that's an entrenched status quo that needs to be disrupted. Or you can take the Florida path.
Republican governors have done, right? I mean, and I think the frustration with Washington Republicans is very different than states like Wisconsin and Michigan and even in Florida and elsewhere. Did you count on your brother for advice when you were president? Was he one of your...
Yeah, some.
Lou?
You know, I tell you what I counted him on for doing a good job of leading Florida when those hurricanes hit.
Yeah.
And he did a fabulous job.
You had a lot of hurricanes.
7.
8.
Excuse me, 8.
Okay. 8 hurricanes, 4 tropical storms in 16 months. And
all right,
you know one thing that I didn't do?
What?
I didn't blame FEMA.
That's a good point.
This is the part that I found so amazing. And Barack Obama's one good thing that he's done, if there's only one, is appointing my director of emergency management to be the director of FEMA.
It was amazing. New Orleans had 5 days' notice.
Yeah.
And the Times-Picayune 35 years earlier had predicted exactly what would happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
All right, let me go back to when you both were young. What was that relationship like? Did you fight?
Well, when you're 18 years old, you don't want to hang around with your 11-year-old brother.
Ouch. Ouch.
I mean, he wasn't drinking beer.
Yeah, okay. That's the time?
Yeah,
how do you know?
I might have been. Well, I don't know. I hope not.
You were too?
No.
Who was more incorrigible, you or your brother? By far, right?
George is the...
How could you do that to your father, who's the nicest man in the world? That's horrible.
It was not my father. It was my mother.
Oh, is that who it was?
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm like her.
Is that right? You're alike?
No, yeah, we're alike. I used to say I had my daddy's eyes and my mother's mouth.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you both for your time.
Thanks, Sean.
Good luck. You got 5 days to go.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Have fun.
Great to be with you again.
Good to see you again. Thank
like
you.
the old days.
Yeah, like the old days. Thank you.